Ladies and gentlemen, we always have experiences in our day-to-day life. I want us to focus now at a country called Uganda. Are you aware that Uganda is the Pearl of Africa? Are you aware? By the way, do you have an idea of what the Pearl is? I was taught, because me, I've never seen it, that the Pearl is the most precious object in the world. So in other words, we live in the most precious world, but again, live under abject poverty. Many of us struggle even to have a living, but living in the Pearl of Africa, the Pearl of the world, a world full of plenty with a population that is starving. Every time I give the statistics from World Bank and all the other researchers, they depict that Uganda's poverty levels are actually worrying. There are people in Uganda here in Uganda who can't even afford a meal. People living in the Pearl. From 1962, when we got our independence, many of us think that the solution is a political solution. But unfortunately, I want to tell you that that may not be the solution. 1962, we had the first president. By 1966, the president was overthrown by his prime minister. By 1971, another president came into place, that is, I think. Then by 1979, another president. By 1986 to 85, 86, many presidents. From 86 to today, many presidents. Change of regimes, but the world has continuously becoming worse. Corruption index, poverty level, social services, everything has continued to get to the dogs. The question is, what is it that we are not solving? Those who in the medical world will tell you that a wrong diagnosis will always lead to a wrong prescription. My dad was sick for some time. Each time we took him to hospital, the doctors would test and say, no, the man has ulcers. We kept giving him medicine, but the condition was getting worse. For over 2 years, ulcers. When we later brought him to Mulago, we discovered the man had cancer, and it was too late to cure. Do you want to wait until when it is too late to cure this country? Why can't we all go to the box and begin to ask ourselves the hard question? If we have changed the regimes and things are getting worse, what is then the problem? The problem is the family. We have all gone to class and I've told you that the family is a basic unit of society. What does it imply? That everything rotates around the family. Countries that have transformed have not much been transformed because of the politics. It has been due to the social transformation. Even the Western countries, America had a social revolution. Europe had a social revolution. Uganda may also need a social revolution, because it is the social revolution that anchors humanity. I want to tell you that there's no society that can ever be greater than the people. Go to any place, when you see bad toilets, it means that is the way the people are. When you see poor roads, it means that's how the people are. South Korea was poor as Uganda 25 years ago. It had the most filthiest city. They used spit everywhere. It was full of shit till when they worked on a model we call family movement. They began to rebuild from the cardinal unit, which is from the pivot, which is the family. What role does the family play? The family changes the culture of the people. And when the people change their culture, then these people begin to change or to build their nation. If I asked you, if we are to build Uganda, who is to build it? It is the Ugandans. Now, when you've not changed the Ugandans, how do we expect Uganda to change? It is the Ugandans that have to change. Where are you going to find these Ugandans? You go to we need to create a mass movement which we call a family movement. All of us go back to the basics of teaching the children how a person lives and behaves in society. That becomes our first building block because they factored in the family. The family changed the culture of the people in Korea. They began being hardworking. They began expressing attributes of building a model city. And as I speak today, South Korea is among the developed countries in the world. By the way, it's even donating for our own livelihood. It is supporting Uganda now. Why should we be dependent yet we are the pearl? Many I've seen people flying, go to South Korea. Others are now going to Saudi Arabia. Others are going to Dubai. Others are going to... I can tell you that all those communities were built by the families there. Now, assuming we get Ugandans and take them South Korea, I can tell you, then you bring the South Koreans and bring them to Uganda. Count only 3 years. Ugandans will be seeking visas from South Korea coming back to Uganda, because Uganda will have turned into South Korea and South Korea will have turned into Uganda. Things don't change, but we do. Family Peace Association wants to work with you so that we can begin to focus on the most important element, the family. Change the family, change the game. Change the game, change the country. When we begin working on the family and we begin going back to our traditional, whether we had this, you know that by the 18th century, East Africa had the biggest market in the world called Zanzibar. Do you know that Europeans were struggling to come so that they can take part in the long distance trade and the trade that was happening around the coast? Do you know that Africa was more developed? The empires that we had in Mali, in Ghana, here now in East Africa, we are very strong. But what made them strong? By then, the family was very strong. How was that family? In that family, every member of that family had a role which was positive. Mother and father were all productive. Children were all productive. In that family, they never bought anything. Say, they would give because they had everything they wanted, made by themselves. They wanted the whole, they made the whole. They wanted food, they planted the food. They wanted bowels to eat food from, through pottery, they made what? So every family, the first industry was the family. And because the first industry was the family, and each family was an industry, by then, Africa was highly what? Industrialized. What happened? We now have families that are redundant. Only one person works, the rest are simply at the receiving what? End. Children are now dolls. Our wives have been reduced into something that is far, far below. People call about women emancipation. I want to tell you, it has not been emancipation. Women have now been more redundant. They go into the white-collar job. Many of them get 500,000 per month. Per month, 500, 1 million, 2 million. And if you look at the costs of mobility, they have nothing to save. But when a woman was at home, that woman was taking care of the farm in the homestead. They were very good at grazing grazing cattle, grazing goats. And you'd find yourself ballooning with a lot of assets. But today, a family is poor on land. A family is poor in all this plenty. We need to go back to the basics. We can only change this country when we go back to the family. I want to thank you. Do you want a better Uganda? Yeah, that country will be made by ourselves. It is us to change. Then the country is also going to change. Come and visit us at Family Peace Association for more analysis on how important the family can be and how it is the game changer.